Yo, what is up guys, it's me Eve again here playing Ethereum Restart. Today's video we're going to take a look at the Diting, arguably the best DPS in the game probably currently. He's so good just purely because of his insane single target damage capacity, as well as why he's extremely diverse. He works in almost every boss. For the most part, even until you get to Inferno, you use him like literally everywhere. He's good in PvP, he's good in PvE, any content, he's great at it. So the only other maybe those who can compete with him is gonna be like something like Messiah, fully built Rosa, Xiara can also be, but those units are a little bit more aside from Messiah, obviously, the Rosa and Xiara are a little bit more of into their own thing. They do only those things that they're good at. In them, some bosses, for example, Xiara is extremely good for the Aurora and Doki only. Like, for example, you're not taking her into terror formation, for example. Same goes for Rosa as well. Like, those units are still great, but they have their limits to where you can use them. But Diting doesn't have that. He's good in literally everything in the game. He is gonna be good in it. It doesn't matter. Other than that, in today's video, we're gonna take a look at his kit, obviously his gear, as well as his shells. What are the best options? What are the alternatives? All of that we're gonna take a look and talk about in today's video. So first of all, let's start with his passive. So with his skill, sorry. His skills consist of the ultimate. This is going to be his the main damage that he applies on. It's going to be 2 shots that he fires. So ultimate fires 2 shots. One is a follow-up attack. The first one is obviously the actual shot, and the second one is the follow-up that he can do. By increasing the level of the skill 3, you can get the 100% follow-up attack for him, and then is always going to be 2 shots as always. Okay. So again, I recommend definitely going for all of the skills. Those are all important, so try to build. If you're going for the Diting, you need to level up all of the skills that he has. Second is going to be his passive. So like at the start of the turn, Diting able to take action, he marks the enemy with the lowest HP. So this is basically, he applies like a mark on the enemies, and then that deals them extra damage, basically. So this is the crit buff that he gets with that mark. This is whenever you level up this skill, you obviously get crit rate boost effect for 50%, then it's crit damage conversion, there's another crit rate boost effect for 60% now, and a crit damage conversion effect for 150. So that's still extremely important because he likes crits a lot. In terms of his single target damage in his first skill, he's gonna be doing again damage, and he also has a chance to apply vulnerability, as you can see here, increase damage taken by 30%. So it's also extremely good. Definitely recommend getting all of the skills done. But in terms of priority, I would say it's passive and then single target. So you can, both of those are extremely good, so you can go for whatever, but I think passive is a little bit more important, just for the sake of having this increased crits, as well as also the follow-ups is very important as well. So if you're going for it, maybe you should try to getting like a little bit of here, then a little bit of here, then you finish this one up later, and then you finish this one up, and then you do the basically first skill to the end whenever you finish all the 2 others once. So in terms of gear, he has a lot of options, because in early game, for example, you only have Onslaught. Obviously you're going to go for fully Onslaught build, and that's pretty good. That's fine. He does insane amount of damage just purely having Onslaught plus whatever, like let's say you go with a Brumble on him, right? So that's sure. He has, like, if you have a free follow-up attack that he can do, contra attack basically, that's also pretty fine, because that could be a free vulnerability applying, and that's basically a free damage for him to do. Onslaught with Kenai, with Harvest, with Momentum, all of those are great. So because the matrix is here, there's so many options for the damage dealing units. You have so many other different builds that you can do. Onslaught plus Fury, Onslaught plus Harvest, Onslaught plus Momentum, Onslaught plus Kenai, all of those are great. You can even do something like a more tanky, a more fully based on the damage dealing capacity when you put something like Fury plus Momentum, also great. You can use literally every combination, but the best ones I would say is gonna be Fury, Kenai, and Momentum. Kenai, because it has the crit damage boost. Again, he's more of a crit rate character compared to crit damage. Obviously, you want to level up those both, but you want to look at crit rate more than on the crit damage. His attack should be relatively high as well. Obviously, you don't want to miss on the attack one, but also crit rate and crit damage are also kind of important. So because of that, Kenai can buff your crit damage if you're lacking on, for example, something like a crit damage gear here, for example, over the crit rate. For example, here I don't have a Kenai for now that has a better crit damage here, or crit rate at least. All of those I don't have it, so I'm using the attack bonus. Obviously, I would love, you want to try to switch this up for like 2 crit rates and 1 crit damage, or a full crit rate. You can also go with that road. That would be pretty good. Definitely you want to try to get this higher than 100 for sure. Unfortunately, mine right now lower because I'm using this. But I could definitely put something that has a crit rate on them for like a little bit lower, like an outstanding here. But I'm using this because I get a 12-12 piece if I'm using the Kenai here. So you're gonna be using that. Also the really good options are obviously the Momentum. Momentum is an incredibly good options for him. Wait, I don't have Momentum right now because I didn't farm the Aurora. So in Aurora fight, you can get this Momentum here, and Momentum buffs the crit rate, so that's an additional crit rate for you. And also it has passive when attacking. For each debuff or control effect on the target, damage increases by 6% up to 36%. That's huge damage. Like that's huge damage increase for free. So Momentum is great. Fury is also really strong on him. Fury buffs for you the attack again, so you can use it over, for example, something like the whenever you're getting to the higher end, you can use the Fury over in slot as well. It works perfectly fine because it also buffs the attack. It obviously doesn't buff attack as much as the Onslaught would buff, but it has an additional buff here that you can see here. When Animus lands a crit and damage result of the hit increased by an additional 12%. That's huge. Another 12% for your crit damage. That's also extremely good. So again, there's a lot of options. You can try different builds. You can see what works for you more. Also, you can switch up some stuff depending on, do you have a crit rate on them? Do you have the crit damage? Do you have like just an attack bonus? You can try to switching up stuff around and try to different builds as well. So that's something for you to try. I would recommend definitely try the Momentum if you're already there. If you don't have Momentum yet, then just go for the Kenai or the Fury as a backup. For example, if you don't have the Kenai, then Fury here over Kenai also works really good. So you can go for Onslaught plus Fury or Onslaught plus Kenai for the time being until you get to the Momentum. Those two work perfectly fine. So we talked about the obviously skills. If you have the chance to upgrade him to the max, also try that. Or if you're maybe lucky on the summons, that's also fine. So in terms of the shells that he likes, obviously in the beginning of the game, if you don't have the White Fang yet, your only option will be the Black Flag or other like any damage dealing units that could be like, there is I think the Wasp, also not the worst pick. You can try dealing with the Wasp, something like Onslaught plus Harvest on her, and then try to build that in the early game. That works fine for the time being until you get to the White Fang. White Fang is one of the best actually for him, because just White Fang is extremely good, because it also works extremely well with him, because taking action follow-ups on the main targets, dealing 2 hits of the unit on the critical hit increases the owner's Animus crit damage up to 6%, up to 10 stacks. So he increases his crit damage for 10 stacks. That's crazy amount of that's 60% crit damage increase. So because of that, he's one of the best shells for the Diting. Obviously, there's also like an end game versions that you can try, like Rebellion works fine. It's not the like I think the White Fang is still the better choice. But again, Rebellion, there's like a Law of Silence can work on him. There's a lot of different options that you can try, but I think White Fang could be your best choice, as well as it's much easier to get him over Rebellion or the Law of Silence. Again, it's gonna be much easier for you to farm in the early game, or like in I would say in the mid game when you're getting to there. So you can use White Fang. In terms of his stats that you want to have, obviously you want to have crit, you want to have like crit rate, crit damage. You can do the his dark type damage capacity here in the last one. In terms of first ones, you don't really need something specific. You just go for all of the DPS options basically on him. You can even have something like a speed on him a little bit, just because on the end game content there's a lot of harder that requires you to have speed. Obviously you will have the supports that will do that, but again, speed is not the worst thing. Again, having a little bit of speed always helps you in a lot of situations. Sometimes that speed could actually save you from like dying, and you're like literally 1 centimeter from killing the boss, and boss just is a little bit faster than your, for example, DPS, and because of that you're dead. So because of that, also speed is not the worst thing you can do, but try to go for the mostly for the DPS options that you have on the shells there. For example, like the attack amplification, again crit, all of those are the best ones. Try to go for the crit and attack for the most part, and you can put the discorder or whatever it's called, the dark one, the dark type damage in the back there. So in terms of what teams you would want to try to build with him, there's a lot of different variations depending on what are you using. For example, there is a good variations for the like Aurora fights. You can use the Heinrich with him, because Heinrich debuffs the shit out of enemies, and because of that, Dating does more damage. Dinah is good, Rosa is good. Again, this is more specific for Aurora fights, but Rosa with Dating actually works really well, because Rosa can boost the meter, as well as she can boost the crits, and because of that she works really good as the sub DPS for him as well. He can be used in the Doki. I cleared Hell 4 with Doki. I'm currently clearing it, as you can see. I'm clearing Hell 3 just because it's much easier, because Tiamat sometimes sucks in those fights, because she uses the third skill first. That's why I'm going for the Hell 3 and not Hell 4, and I'm only doing Hell 4 myself without using auto. Otherwise Tiamat is just ruining my runs. But I'm using again, I showed it in the video for Doki fight how I've been able to clear the Hell 4 and how I'm farming it right now. I'm using Diting there, so you can just replicate my build if you want to use him as well in there, or you can replicate my team for that. Also in Transformation, great enough. He can easily be beating those as you can see, missions. He can easily beat the Transformation as well. Still, even in Hell 4, people still use Diting there. I don't know about the... Well, as you can see, some people still doing it with Dating as well. So like that's huge. He can even do Inferno by himself. So that's very, very big character, as you can see there. So in terms of his teams, he works relatively everywhere. He's great for having on any team setups. His best probably will be Kloss, one of these debuffers, as well as Heinrich, because both those two are really, really good for debuffing, and because of that, you want to have them combined with the Diting, that they amplify his damage, much more, even more than he is already doing. Lily also is an incredibly good option if you have her. Again, her buff makes Diting much, much more faster, as well as she can increase the crits for him, and that's another easy way to increase his crits even more higher, and he's gonna do even more damage. So other than that, hopefully you like the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comments. Obviously, tell me what do you think about dating. Maybe if you're new, are you planning to build him or not? And also, don't forget I stream every day, so you can tune in for the streams. If you don't want to miss anything, you can also join the Discord. In the Discord, I always post notifications for the streams beforehand, so you don't miss anything. And also, you can become a member right now. Just by, if you want to support the content obviously that I do, you can become a member. And also, we're doing the account reviews for Ethereum Restart. One of the next streams we're gonna do that. So if you don't want to miss the account reviews, you also want to show your account, you can just send the screenshots in the Discord. There is a special section in the Discord there called Ethereum Restart Arc Review. You can send it in there. Other than that, hopefully you have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.